Hey, crypto family. So, not a fun day for cryptos at all today. Bitcoin actually hit a new all time low for 2018, but I'll go over that and everything else in a couple minutes. But first, let's cover a couple articles. So, the first one is going to be by Coindesk, and it says SEC again delays decision on VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF. So, this could have been a contributing factor to why Bitcoin has declined so much today, among other things. But it says the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission extended a rule change proposal allowing the nation's first Bitcoin exchange traded fund, pushing the decision deadline to next year. Now, this was for the VanEck ETF fund. And it says in a notice posted online, the security regulator says extending the review period for the ETF to February 27th of 2019. So this is the same thing that happened with the backed exchange, how they extended their date from December to January. And it's all based around regulation and just being able to comply with those laws. And again, if they don't see a high chance that their ETF will get approved, then of course they're going to delay it because they want the best chance for that approval. Now, the thing about this decision is on February 27th, it won't be able to be delayed anymore. So it says under SEC rules, a decision on the proposal cannot be delayed any further, meaning the next notice must either approve or reject the ETF. So that's something important because this date is going to have a lot of hype. Now, there's been a lot of ETFs in the past, and it seems like they're all getting rejected, and the main cause is just manipulation. So they want to make sure that the crypto space is safe from manipulation, and although it can have volatility, those two aren't one and the same. So they want to try to get manipulation out of the crypto space as much as possible before they approve that ETF so investors have that confidence that their funds are safe and they can't be controlled by one or two people. So again, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, but yeah, a lot of this FUD is contributing to the market downturn, and it doesn't help that these ETFs are extended till next year. But it seems like next year a lot of stuff is going to happen in terms of bringing crypto to the mainstream. So again, we'll have to see what happens with that and what happens beginning of next year for new ETFs and everything else coming up. Now, on some more positive news, Binance actually launched their multi-account feature for institutional crypto traders. So this is a cool thing that Binance added, and basically it gives institutional investors a new sub-account feature. So they can set up multiple trading accounts for each firm, with different accounts being given different levels of access and control. The firm's main accounts will be able to control these sub-accounts, granting them permissions as needed. So think of like a hedge fund or like a big trading firm that, say, hires people and gives them X amount of money to trade certain funds. So they can have up to 200 sub accounts, meaning you can have 200 different accounts with different APIs, trading different coins, and they can all be monitored by one main account. And this is great because again, it gets more big investors into the market if they want to, divide up their accounts into different sub accounts, because then all their eggs aren't in one basket, so to speak. You have different accounts that they can invest in. So I thought this was a great idea. And again, it just gives more you could say push for institutional investors to either open up hedge funds or just trading firms so that they can, activate and use these sub accounts with Binance to kind of help trade and spread out their assets. So I thought this was a really good feature, and Binance is definitely working to try to bring this, to the mainstream as much as possible. Now, the last article for today is about Morgan Creek, and it says they're betting $1 million that crypto can beat the S&P. It says Morgan Creek Digital, an institutional manager focused on cryptocurrencies and digital assets, wants to bet $1 million that such assets will outperform the S&P 500 during the next 10 years. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Of course, cryptocurrencies are going to outperform the S&P over the next 10 years. But I think the main thing with this, again, is just getting more mainstream headlines and just kind of, opening people up to how much long-term growth the cryptocurrencies have. So it's just making sure that, people have a positive outlook and people can actually see the potential for cryptocurrencies, because there's a lot of FUD lately saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to zero, or cryptos are worthless, there's no use for them. But I believe this, even though, it is potentially a small amount, in terms of how much money that these companies have, the main fact that there is this bet and people are talking about it, I believe is going to help cryptocurrencies long term and help people to see the long term vision and invest more into that. So just something cool I wanted to bring up. And again, I'm sure people are going to be talking about this, a couple of years down the road, and just these other bets that kind of get people talking. McAfee with his bet of $1 million Bitcoin, I think it was by 2020, or, he set these outrageous prices, but again, it gets people talking and it keeps crypto in the mainstream. So hopefully this has a positive outcome for cryptocurrencies. But again, it's just, one more thing to create that long-term vision. Now, looking at the market today, again, I mentioned, one of the worst days we've had. Bitcoin's down nearly 10% to $3,418. You have Ripple down 10% to 30 cents. Ethereum's down 15% to $86. Stellar's down 16% to 11 cents. But Bitcoin SV is actually up over 22% to $110. And it's moved up to the number 5 spot. It was number 9. And I mentioned to a lot of people a couple of videos ago that I believe Bitcoin SV could be used as a hedge when the market downturns. And we're seeing that it seemed to do that the past couple of times. They've had these huge bear days. Bitcoin SV has seemed to hold. So, whatever the reason that is, I don't know if Craig Wright has a lot of people that are investing in this at bear market downturns or what, but it seems to have some support during these bear markets, and just something to keep in mind, potentially if you're looking to hedge. It's not financial advice, but just something I've noticed. And then looking at Bitcoin Cash, you see that's down over 19% to $102. So again, this underperforming a lot of coins. So with that, going over Bitcoin here. Now, something I noticed, many of y'all may know, I love using TD Sequential. It was brought about by my good friend M. Pavlovsky. He's has a Twitter account as well, but it's a great analysis tool to use, and it tends to be, fairly accurate versus other analysis tools. Now, usually, when you have red 9s or green 9s, that means a potential reversal is imminent in the opposite direction. The longer the time frame, the higher likelihood that a reversal will happen. So this is a 12-hour time frame, and you can see there is a red 9. Now, the last time we had a red 9 on the 12-hour was November 26th. And after that, Bitcoin went from $3,700 all the way to a high of $4,300. So a $600 move in 2 days. Now, I don't want to be biased here. So scrolling back, you can see the last time it hit a 9 on the 16th of November, it went from 5,500 and then only to a high of 5,690. So again, not really much of a reversal there. So again, you can't only look at one side, but there is potential that a reversal could happen. So just something to keep in mind. It is turning, to oversold on the RSI. And then also, I want to go to the 3-day chart, and 3-day chart is actually on a red 9 as well, but this is just starting today. So this still has 2 more days for this candle to fully form a red 9. But I will say the 3-day candles tend to be a little bit more accurate than the 12-hour because, again, they're longer time frames. So you look at the last time that Bitcoin made a red 9, okay, which was here March 29th of this year. Now you look a couple candles after that, it went from $6,920 all the way to a high of $9,780. So again, it went over, nearly $3,000, almost $4,000 in a span of 1 month. So not to say that that's going to happen here, but again, just keeping that option available because, we are oversold on a lot of indicators. People are starting to panic. Who knows if we're in, if we're in the depression mode or capitulation, everyone likes to call it. But again, there are a lot of oversold indicators, and just something to keep in mind when looking at all of these. Now, one last thing to look at is the support levels. So I mentioned, if Bitcoin does break that $3,600 level, we're looking towards 3,000. We've hit a low of 3,282, so it looks like 3,000 is not that far behind. Now, if you scroll down, the reason I said 3,000 is because if you look at this weekly chart here on September 11th of 2017, if you look here, the red candle actually wicked all the way down to $2,939, which is about 3,000. So that's where I'm getting this 3,000 support level here. And again, we may hit it, we may not, we may bounce to new highs. But again, there has been a lot of bearish downturn, but the weekly is at that oversold mark right now. And again, it hasn't been at the oversold mark yet. So this is the lowest that the RSI has been on the weekly Bitcoin. So we're going to see what happens if we do have a reversal here sharply to the upside. But again, we're going to have to keep watching and see what happens with that. So with that, if y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. I'll really appreciate it. Till next time, thanks for watching.